Yeah, sure, people get killed, you know, but I'm very careful, so I'm not going to be the one that hurts anybody, no less kills anybody. Of course not, you know, it can't happen to me.
I talked to my dad again. I was like, what's going on? And he said, well, there's been an accident and your sister didn't make it.
I could never recreate that moment. Whatever that was that came out from the depths of my soul, that scream, that horror, that was, you know, my worst nightmare coming true.
I wanted to know who he was and why he felt like he could get away with it and that he was different and, you know, he could make it home from the beach intoxicated and drive and take the life of my sister.
If I could turn back the clock before May 11th, that crash never would have happened, and I would still have my daughter.
It's estimated that 1/3 of traffic fatalities are alcohol related, and many involve young people between the ages of 15 to 24. We're going to see what the city of Tallahassee is doing to identify intoxicated drivers and make the roads a lot safer. We begin with the stories of several families whose lives have been dramatically altered, shattered by one moment in time and the decision to drink and drive.
My name is Eric Smallridge, or I guess I should say it was. I'm now inmate P22679. On May 11, 2002, I made the worst decision of my life. I chose to drink and drive. It wasn't like a night of all-out partying by any means, you know, but next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and the bars are about to close and it's time to go. So, got on the road. I didn't see him, and neither did anybody else, but apparently the car that Meagan and Lisa were driving in, Meagan Napier and Lisa Dixon, had come on into the inside lane, and I'm in the middle lane, and there was a white Camaro in the right lane. And as we take off from the light, we're going around a curve, and it says right lane ends. And he pulls up next to me, and I look over at him, and in that instance, he's merging, and I'm looking at him, and next thing you know, I leave my lane.
He hit them at such an impact that it smashed in the back end and exposed the wheel, and his tire caught her tire, and that caused him to flip, and then that caused them to slide sideways into the tree. So the impact was where Meagan was, on that side, on the passenger side. I believe that their necks were broken when he hit them from behind. The seat backs actually broke, so they ended up being kind of shoved into the back seat. You know, it was a reclining position that they were in because of the seat backs breaking, but I believe their necks broke at that instant, and then, you know, just whipping around the tree just kind of finished them off. I found out about it probably around 8:45. My sister-in-law showed up at the door, and she was very somber, and she just looked at me and said, "There's been an accident. It was Meagan. She didn't make it."
When I heard that there had been an accident, I immediately thought, you know, like my grandparents had died or somebody's house had caught on fire. And when he said my sister, I mean, he probably said Meagan just to make sure that I knew it was Meagan. I just lost it. I mean, it was just the most surreal and awful thing that I could ever even imagine. I mean, it just never even crossed my mind.
I went into the darkest pit that I've ever been in, ever. It was like the deepest depression I've ever been in my life. I was so ashamed of myself that I didn't even want to be seen in anybody else's eyes. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the time I was contemplating suicide.
He got the phone and called us to say goodbye. That's not something any parent ever wants to go through.
We realized that we would have to prepare for his defense.
The verdict came down guilty, I think we were prepared for that. But when the judge pronounced 22 years, I mean, immediately your head starts doing the numbers. You know, how old will he be? You know, okay, he'll be in his 50s. Oh my gosh, I'm in my 50s. 22 years, which was just a year and a half, basically longer than he had lived. He would now be in prison for another lifetime.
They read the guilty verdict. I knew I was guilty, and that's the point where I started to accept responsibility. But what really hurts and what the real punishment is having to deal with the fact that 2 lives, in my case, were taken because of a selfish decision I made. That's the real punishment, is living with that. And so when they read the 22 years, I said, well, that's just what I'm going to have to do, because that's my debt to society. And I knew that no prison time would ever bring Meagan and Lisa back, and it's never going to make it completely better for the families. You're here with people of all ranges: child molesters, murderers, rapists. They're all here on this compound. People ranging from having a year and a day in prison to having multiple life sentences. And you have to be around these people no matter how you're feeling. So if you're sick, you're with the same 70 people. You know, it's hard for people in the free world to pick 1 or 2 roommates to live with. Well, how about here? Here's 70 that you didn't pick. And here's 6 toilets that y'all can use. And here's 6 shower heads that y'all can use. There's 2 heaters. There's 6 ceiling fans. And there's no AC. Have a nice day. It's horrible.
Drinking and driving is no accident. It's about choice. You choose to drink. You choose to get drunk. You choose to climb behind the wheel of a car. Alcohol-related crashes can be avoided, but only if you make the right choice.
The time has come that we must stop drinking and driving.
Just to save one family from all of this grief that we've experienced, and it's worth it. So it's just all about trying to get the message out there and trying to get people to be more responsible. And nobody's telling anybody not to drink and not to have a good time, but just to be smart about it.
If you're going to party, go for it. Plan ahead. Plan your exit strategy. Have a way to get yourself home safely without endangering anybody, and don't endanger your future. Even if you don't hurt anybody but yourself, you can ruin your life through DUI. Plan ahead. It's so easy to do, but we never think of it. We have to start doing that.
Somebody listening to this will die as a result of drunk driving. It's a terrible statistic, and it's got to stop.
My advice to anybody that thinks it can't happen to them is that's exactly what I thought. I thought that not in a million years would I be the one to take the life of 2 people. I didn't even think I would kill myself. You know, I didn't think that was a possibility. I thought that the worst that could happen to me was I would get a DUI, and that I'd have to worry about a hardship license and, you know, listen to my parents tell me, how many times did I tell you not to drink and drive, and look what you've done. And that is the most flawed and selfish way of thinking, and I can honestly say that that was me. I was the one that was saying that too, and look where I'm at. My name's not Eric Smallridge anymore, it's P22679, and to think that it can't happen to you is completely wrong.